I was a lot younger, a lot more naive, not without wisdom, but it was a learned experience that allows you to grow. And I would counsel my own children and grandchildren that armed insurrection is really an act of futility, of and by itself. If there's lessons to be learned, fine. But armed struggle, there's a saying among my people that old men and mothers know the folly of doing battle. Once you are free, you're free to be respectful. And you're free to be responsible, which engenders respect. So the issue of freedom is paramount in my mind. Always has been. There isn't a government that can address freedom. That's why they have declarations of civil rights. But whose civil rights are you asking for? Your civil rights? Well, in order to have civil rights, you have to have the same right as the richest man in the country. That's what you're asking. The powerful is that, can I have some of your rights? That's what women ask. The powerful male, can I have some of your rights? That's my civil rights. Because I saw it happen in America when everything was liberation or freedom in the 60s. And then the government and those, which came out to be the civil rights leaders, they signed the Civil Rights Act in 1964, and it kind of killed the entire freedom movement. There was gay liberation, there was women's liberation, there was the free speech movement. Everything was about liberation in America, and they changed it to civil rights. They let the air out of the tire. No, I've never had pause that I should be doing something else, because of my spiritual beliefs, which I were taught by my elders and my ancestors, And I believe that every spiritual person is guided by the Spirit. And I do believe that's what is with me. I it's a good life to be guided by the Spirit and protected by the Spirit. And I love the philosophy of my father. He said, when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. So why have fear? Matriarchy, in every instance I've been around in the world, and I've been on every continent except Antarctica, meeting indigenous people, and in every instance I've come to realize that if you want a just world and a free world, it can only happen in a matriarchal world, because patriarchy, very simply, is built on fear. It's a fear-based society where men have they haven't philosophically or intelligently graduated from cave. They still have the caveman mentality, period. And it's based on fear, because the only way they have found in all this millennium of time on how to settle a misunderstanding, it's with the club. Albeit now it's sophisticated clubs. But that's the way he settles his misunderstandings. That's pure caveman. Yeah? The stupidity of the world and the stupidity of the patriarch just comes down to that one factor. Imagine settling a misunderstanding with a club, but your most civilized leaders have been doing it for 6,000 years. And it never stops, man. It just never stops. So, I've come to realize that if we as a people are going to be truly free, you all have to become revolutionaries. But only one revolution. And the one revolution is you come around to where you began. So if you're a true revolutionary, that's where you want to go, around to where you began. And we began in the womb. And that's where we got to go back to. Because that's what men go back to anyway. You look at every elder I've ever said understands, especially when we get to my age, this high hill of old age. We know we're coming back to childhood, and we need mothering again. And that's another reason the women go through their change of life, so that they can now, instead of, they're through with kids, now they can mother you. You see? So I understand matriarchy. I love it. I'm in a matriarchal marriage, thank goodness, you know. And to put it very simply, men, our life travels in a circle. We go from diaper back to diapers. Actually, in my culture, when we leave this life, there are various ways that we are buried or whatever. Most of us were cremated. Others were just left to feed Mother Earth, you know, in some form or another. Excuse me. That's dust to dust philosophy that the Christians have, you know, dust to dust. So I don't care what happens to me. I do request that I be cremated. You know? Or, failing that, wrap me up in a blanket in some secret place and let me return to my grandmother the earth. But my wife, in collusion with my kids, will have the ultimate say-so. I don't know. My request is that I be cremated and some of my ashes put in our Holy Land. But that's where I want to be. But what they decide to do with me after I go to the next world, that's not for me to say.